Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm Terry, and thank you so much for being here. I'm coming at you with another scintillating vlog. This vlog today is all about going vegan, and the question is all vegan food actually healthy? And I want to answer that in a very raw, pun intended, and honest way. All vegan food is really not that healthy, and there's a lot of vegan food that is. So it depends on what approach you take to veganism. If you're going completely raw, then it's absolutely healthy. Now, whether that agrees with your particular system or not is a different story. And if you're going vegan but not raw, then chances are you're consuming a lot of different types of foods, which include processed foods. And processed foods are never ideal. So they're not completely healthy. And personally, I would advise against it, although I myself um, practice what I preach sometimes and don't practice what I preach honestly sometimes either. So the thing is that I have gone the raw vegan route several times, and I've reverted back to, eating baked, prepared, cooked foods because I really feel it's just the way I feel that I need hot foods, cooked foods, foods and even snacks that are more substantial. In fact, a lot of the liquids that I drink, which is water, because I don't really do fruit juices, or other sweetened drinks. I never do sodas. I never crave sodas. I don't do drink mixes. I don't even do protein mixes. I mostly drink water or water tinged with tea. I try not to go full strength tea, although all of my teas are caffeine free, which is different than decaffeinated tea. But that's another subject for another story. And something interesting that I'm bringing into this vlog is actually prison related. Yes, county jail and state prison system related, because that really ties into this. So first and foremost, I love animals above and beyond all else. Um, I am the most passionate animal advocate, and I had chosen a long time ago to go vegan because of my love of animals. And, going completely vegan, especially going raw vegan, is actually difficult for a lot of people. And for some people, it's easy because they can do raw food, all raw, all the time. But um, it's it can become trying. So it's really up to you how, if you are approaching veganism, or if you are a vegan, how you choose to go about it. Speaking of which, I have allergies right now. Okay. It's like, it's not funny, but it's kind of like um a nervous laugh. The nervousness comes from the fact that I've been um, ill for about 3 weeks straight with allergies, or what I thought are allergies. However, I have an Asian herbologist who I go to consistently now, and he told me, you don't have an allergy, you have a cold. And he sent me home with an elixir, an herbal elixir, which I've been taking. But I'm also currently on a very hardcore detox cleanse of his, and I've been on it for maybe 2 weeks, and I'm going through a lot right now. But I'm so grateful because I'm blessed, because I'm in such great physical health condition, But when I say ill, that's coming from my perspective, which is relative. For me, you know, because I am so healthy, I've always been healthy, any little thing really makes its mark on me. So these allergies, which are coming from basically, um, not for the most part from weather conditions, from pollen, although I am allergic to dust and pollen and other um, outdoor conditions, which can be brought indoor. I'm allergic to nuts, and a majority of the foods that I eat are nuts. I knew I was allergic, but I have chosen, and I do choose to go ahead and continue to eat nuts because I have to get my protein somewhere, and I don't want to consume a lot of soy. So I've been doing that. It has been suggested to me by some experts to actually consume some amounts of meat, but because of my love of animals, I haven't been doing that. You know, I have not been a vegan all of my life, but for a majority. So at this time, I choose to still remain vegan. I have gone to have some blood tests done to see exactly what I am allergic to other than the nuts, because I have had tests done for that before. So I know that for a fact that I'm allergic to nuts. However, um, I've insisted on more involved allergy tests. So I'm waiting for the results right now. And I just want to say Quest Diagnostics, which is one of the now major labs that conducts blood tests. They're great. They're very efficient, and so forth. So I'm vibing with my stick, my stylus here. Anyways, yeah, so vegan food is not necessarily healthy all the time. And in the state of California, within the county of California, jails and prisons, for the most part, have, because of some legal requirements, um, you know, relatively recently, they do offer allergies, religious diets. They call it religious diets, but you know, they actually lump a vegetarian and or vegan diet under religious diets, which makes no sense. But look what we're talking about: the county and state um, prison system. So those are offered. However, no matter what route you go with a so-called normal diet, or a vegetarian diet, or a vegan diet in prison, or even kosher or Islamic diet, they're still serving you highly manipulated and processed foods. You will just about never get anything fresh in those two systems. As an inmate in California, you will not get anything fresh, barely, except for the occasional apples or oranges you get in a lunch bag or maybe a breakfast bag. Um, I, I don't know about other counties, however, and I say this unfortunately, I have been an inmate, a prisoner, and I've been in the system. I'm not proud of it, but they've taught me very rich lessons. So as an inmate, I have that perspective. In the county of Los Angeles and in the state of California, you do not get hot food. Now, they mandate per their Title 15s respectively that you are supposed to get one hot meal per day. They're not hot. They're, if you're lucky, it's lukewarm meals, and those are the dinners. For breakfast and lunch, you get cold food, you know, but you get food. So you usually get two hard-boiled eggs that are not normally recently hard boiled. They have these refrigerated. They have been prepared days in advance. They are preserved. You get a cellophane wrapped, machine cellophane wrapped set of bread. I say set of bread. You get 2 slices of that. Now that's for the morning meal. You will get a carton of milk, and that's it. They used to give you a smaller carton of orange juice or apple juice, but they don't do that any longer. For lunch, you get that cellophane wrapped 2 slices of bread, a pouch of peanut butter that's made with rapeseed, not grapeseed, rapeseed oil. That's RAPESEED oil. A lot of sugar, and I will get into that in a bit. And you will get a cellophane wrapped 2 cookies, a small carton of orange juice. It used to be fruit punch, which had no fruit in it. It was just a carton of, chemically, sugary colored water. And I believe you might get an apple or an orange or whatever fruit that they have at the time. And you might get a packet of mustard if that day's selection for lunch, instead of peanut butter, is cellophane wrapped 2 slices of cold cuts, which is usually bologna. To me, that is so toxic that in my several times of having been incarcerated, I have never ever touched that meat, and I never will. They allege that it's turkey, but it really looks like red meat. I don't know what the source is, but I have never eaten it, and I never would. As for the pouch of peanut butter, I survived on peanut butter sandwiches in jail and prison when I was an inmate, because I had to, not because I chose to. But I will say this: peanut butter has a lot of protein, but if it's outweighed by the amount of sugar in the serving of peanut butter that you're taking in, then it's really not beneficial, and it's probably even bad for you. But what are you going to do? Now, the pouches of peanut butter that you get in the jail and prison system in California are very, very highly sugared. They just have, processed cane sugar in them, not organic, of course. And here's another thing: they're highly inflammatory. Peanuts are a legume. They're actually not a nut. On the inverse of that, coconuts, they're a protein. They're not a fruit. They're a nut. That's a side note, which is, fun facts and useful facts. So peanut butter can be very good for you, or it can be highly inflammatory, and maybe if you're taking in enough of it, it can be toxic, because after a while it builds up in your system, which causes more inflammation. Even a healthy person like me, if you're in there for an extended period of time, and anything more than a week is a very extended period of time, and you're continually eating peanut butter, the peanut butter in that system, or those systems, county and state, are separate. You're developing a lot of inflammation. Peanuts can be very inflammatory depending on how they're stored. Any moisture in just peanuts themselves is a very bad, it's a source of inflammation. Now you have to consider that in the jail and prison system, those pouches of peanut butter are not stored at optimal, ideal, or the perfect temperatures as they should be, as maybe part of the Title 15 or the law does require that they store their food at the right temperature, at prescribed temperatures. They don't care. The deputies in there, the cook staff in there, they don't care. Especially court staff deputies. They just throw a pouch of peanut butter and some bread and cookies at you during court days when you're in the dungeon, which is called lockup. I call it lockdown. It's in the basement of whatever court that you are being taken to. when you're in custody, this is existence, you know. So you're consuming all of this peanut butter on a daily basis, and um, the inmates in there usually don't consider these things. You know, for the most part, most inmates don't care. I cared, but I didn't have a choice. I mean, I got what I got. See, it doesn't matter who you are when you're arrested and taken into the system. You can be the Queen of Sheba. You can be coming from a great background. You can be coming from a bad background. You can be coming from an educated background, an unenlightened background. It doesn't matter when you're in there, and if you are not given the opportunity for whatever reason to bail out, you're in custody, going through a court case or court cases. You're subjected to the worst conditions in there. The air you breathe is not filtered. They claim that it is. It's not. The food that you eat is, in a best case scenario, it's from frozen and it's reheated. That's the best you can hope for, but that's about it. Even if you have family and or friends on the outside who support you and help you and are sending you money or sending you packages as allowed by the county and state prison system, you're still taking in processed foods. What's any different than what you're getting as an inmate for the planned meals there? The only thing is that if you're able to shop or you're getting packages, you can get pouches of tuna. If you consume that, if you consume meat, you can get pouches of ham, chicken, or they call it roast beef. No, I don't know how roasted it really is, but they're in pouches. Those are processed too, but they're maybe a little better than what you would get, as far as like bologna goes. So I never purchased or received ham, chicken, or beef because I don't consume those things, So there's that. They also have pouches of shrimp that are almost microscopic. Hey, if that's your thing, it wasn't mine, so I never ate that stuff. But yeah, that's the best. I mean, relatively speaking, from depending, and I highlight this, depending on your perspective, okay? Not on my perspective, but maybe on yours or another inmate's perspective. Those are delicious things. Another staple is if you're able to shop or you're receiving packages. The biggest staple in both systems is ramen style noodles, actual ramen noodles. Those are very toxic, especially if you are somebody who has a chronic condition like type 1 or type 2 diabetes, because those noodles just translate to sugar in your system. They metabolize as sugar. So, I mean, that would send your sugar levels sky high. And in those systems, you do not get good diabetic care. If you're on insulin, you get your injections. If you're taking the oral medication, you get that, which are notorious for their side effects, because sometimes they can really actually mess with your blood sugar levels. They do the opposite of helping you. And when that happens, the medical staff, the nursing staff in there will actually try to stabilize your blood sugar levels by giving you more bread or cookies or chips, whatever's on hand from the jail meals. It's not like they're going to say, here, let me give you some, proper protein. No, they're just going to give you something just to say that they fulfilled their job. And if you're on a vegetarian or vegan diet in there, you're getting nothing but processed foods. It just says that, okay, on their part, they did what the law requires them to do. In prison, where they say you have a little more freedom, and this is a very taught subject, but everybody agrees that the prison system is maybe a step or two better than the jail system because you get to go outside, you get real air, um, and you get a few more freedoms than when you're in the county jail. Because in the Los Angeles County Jail, if you're not a worker, a trustee on a certain level, because not all trustees even get this privilege, you don't go outside ever for recreation time. You get what's called outdoor rec, where they just throw you into another room where there's a screen over the window, and it's not really even a window, um, and that's it. It's called outdoor rec, which is indoor room. So the food situation is what it is in there. Um, out here in, what they call the free world, unless you're eating raw all the time, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, your chances are you're taking in processed foods because you need proteins. Um, I've actually made a lot of, you know, um, meal plan foods of my own with nuts. There's also quinoa, but at the end of it, quinoa is not the biggest source of protein, although it is a good source of protein. So I've actually made taco meat with quinoa, organic celery, and walnuts in a food processor, and taco spices, which is absolutely delicious. And I'm really picky, and I have to say, it was so good. There were times where, forgive my language, I was like, fuck me, this is so good. And instead of sour cream, I've used coconut yogurt, which is, I mean, it's so creamy and it's so good. But you know what? It takes its toll for me because, again, I'm allergic to nuts. And everything has come to a peak in me. I did actually go to a Western doctor, and he didn't do anything for me. So what happened there, long story short, is he conducted a couple tests and they came back normal. I put that in quotes, normal. And I mean, I believe him when he says they came back normal. But when I told him all of my issues, because having been incarcerated and you're eating the foods in there that you're eating, and in my case, it was always peanut butter, or during dinner times on the trays, um, when they were serving meat, I would give away the meat portion for the lettuce on somebody else's tray. Um, but still, I mean, there were other portions on the tray which are processed, even though they have no meat content, other than the lettuce. And the lettuce in there is bagged. You're getting bagged lettuce. So all of those things take a toll on your system. When I was released in 2019, I know that I would overhear other inmates talking about, oh, when I go home, I can't wait to have me a carne asada. I'm just gonna let loose on the tacos and all that. And what I would think to myself is, I can't wait to detox and cleanse, because detoxing, as you know, is not just for drugs. I mean, and I've never done drugs, um, although I enjoy the occasional CBD candies. Okay, so, but at that time, I was just, coming off of the prison food. And for me, that indicates that I need to do a major detox. And when I came home, I did a detox, but I didn't know at the time that even that wasn't enough, because in the last few months, my metabolism has taken a major dive, I've noticed. I've felt tired. I felt not myself. I felt moods that uh, I haven't felt before, And I knew it was time for me to go, you know, the route that I need to go, which is to go to an acupuncturist, herbologist, and do what I need to do. And I would have done that regardless, but this was actually it was time for me. Now the reason I went to the Western doctor is because I thought maybe, I was being optimistic. I was thinking that it's not going to be in place of what I need to do, but it's going to be an adjunct. He would do some tests, and maybe um, you know we would find something out that we could address and start um, you know start fixing. Instead, what happened is when a couple of the tests that he did came out normal, and he didn't even bother to call me with the results. And his office is very, very rude, and I'm going to get into that in just a bit. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. Side note, fun fact. So he gave up on me. I actually called his office for the results, and then when they told me it was normal, I told them, well, I would like to schedule a follow-up, doctor's visit, because I wanted to get from him um, what are the next steps we can take. Why am I always nauseous? Why am I having flu-like symptoms or allergy-like symptoms? Why am I so miserable? Why do I feel so physically sick all the time after eating? So I went to him, and I waited more than an hour for him to walk into the room. And he asked me, how are you? And I was honest with him. I told him, you know what, I'm not okay. I was not rude to him in any way. I decided to be honest, because normally my stoic response, just because I soldier up all the time, is, oh, I'm fine. But I told him, I'm not okay. This is not okay. What do you think? I mean, so I've been told that the test results are normal. And he said, yeah, they're normal. So there's nothing I can do for you. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do. We can do some research on why you're getting nausea and headaches all the time. So why don't you go do the research? Which was contradictory, because we indicates not just me. And then in the same breath, he's going to say, why don't you go do it and tell me what you find? Okay, so if I did this research and I tell you what I find, are you going to help me, was my question. And this is how I asked him. And he said, you know what? I think I'm going to bow out here. And that really angered me, honestly. I felt like, okay, first of all, and I want to say this, if somebody tells you who they are, believe them. That's one of the best quotes, and I firmly believe in that, and it's very easy for me to apply. So when he said he was going to bow out, I told him absolutely fine, but I'd like to know why, because I'm curious. Like, why would you give up on a patient? And he actually came back very harsh. And I told him, you know what? You shouldn't be like that. You're a highly experienced doctor. You told me you've been in this field for over 30 years. And then he came back he cut into my sentence and said, listen, you don't have to sell yourself to me. And I stood up in his face and I told him, no, you listen, because I'm not selling myself to you, because I don't want to. I asked you a simple question. Why would you give up on a patient like that? And I mean, I even if he had changed his mind, I would not go back to him, because the first statement when somebody says they don't want to do something, that's it. Let them go, because you deserve somebody who does want to be in it with you. So I had made up my mind, but I just wanted to know why. Maybe there was something I could learn from that. I was willing to learn, but that's how it ended. Now, when I say where there's smoke, there's fire, I looked him up on Yelp, and he had nothing but almost, but because he had some good reviews, but he had mostly bad reviews. And out of all of those many bad negative reviews, um, a lot of them, a majority of them, were actually stating the same thing. And these are people who don't know me, who I don't know, we've never met. These are other people. So there's that. At any rate, I already had my appointment with the herbologist. You know, he was very, very good, as in very friendly, very open, responds to messages, answers questions, very open with his information, his resources, his history. He's actually an MD, um, an excellent MD, but he chose to, um, stop his practice in Western medicine, and he's a cancer survivor. He's actually very old, and he's very, very, very healthy. So as I continue with my allergies, I believe that I'm having a purging period, which is really what it is. And so when I went to him, he still, even after he had me undressed, we spoke for a long time about my history and everything, and then he proceeded with the acupuncture. He sold me a protocol of a major detox. It only involves two herbal liquid herbs a day. So two herbals a day, but taken 3 times a day. I've been following it faithfully. They're bitter herbs. They're very bitter. So I've, developed a way to get past that. I take them 3 times a day faithfully. And I told him, it's been a couple weeks, what's going on? And he said that it doesn't happen right away. So I'm on that protocol. I'm also on a protocol of, I've reduced my supplements to just a couple a day now, because I have a rather extended list of supplements that I was taking daily, because I want to let this detox really take its righteous effect on me. So what I'm using right now are my, let's see here. Okay. So these are the two that I'm using now from him. And they take some getting used to. I am still doing my chlorophyll, and I do a tea with this, and by that I mean I pour in the required drops with hot water, and that's my tea. So that's my elixir. And then I do these 2 vitamins for now. I've reduced my protocol to these 2 and the chlorophyll, so that would make 3. And I realize I'm coming from a place of privilege, because a protocol, is very expensive. But self-care, the right self-care, the ideal self-care, which is ideal for the individual person, is very expensive. Insurance doesn't pay for these things, but it's more than worth it. And I'm very happy that I'm on this road. It's another different journey as I play with my hair, but it's what's best for me, and that's what I'm doing. Another thing that I want to show and tell, which I'm really loving right now, is that this past weekend I found a new toothpaste. This is a CBD toothpaste, and this is actually a glass um, bottle. It's glass. It's a pump, and this what I'm impressed with is the fact that its alkalinity level, which is a 7.0, and I thought I would try this, and in true Terry fashion, I purchased multiples of this. But first and foremost, what impressed me is right here. It's cruelty free. So I've purchased multiples of this. I should have just probably purchased one to see how I like it. Um, you know, it's it tastes medicinal but very minty, and I'd rather have a medicinal um, flavor, you know, than not to have my fresh minty breath. I actually I I'm very grateful. I've been blessed with really clean breath, even like first thing in the morning. But I believe in actually cleaning your tongue, then covering it up with Listerine type rinses, which can actually even dry your mouth out, which can cause more bacteria and mess with you that way too. So I like products that actually clean. Cinnamon is one, but this, because of the ingredients, it actually does clean. It's not cinnamon, it's mint. But so I'm really impressed with this. This is organic oral care. I don't know why they abbreviated it with ORL, but that's the company. And it's all sourced in the US of A. Um, oralcares.com. Loving your guys' product so far. Amazing. And so that's it for a vegan based diet. If I decide to do another vlog, this will then become part one of a part two. As it stands, it's a lone standing vlog. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I would love to read your questions, suggestions, comments, or even if you don't agree with me, just keep it positive. And if you've liked this, please subscribe, like, and share this vlog. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys back here soon. Bye.